Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Monday, June 5th. We've got a 7-game slate today. These are really the slates that I like. I like these middle-of-the-pack kind of slates. You know, personally, I don't really like the big slates where you're having 14, 15 games. I feel like I just don't do good on those slates. But these middle-of-the-pack slates where you got about 7, 8, 9 games, these are my favorite kind of slates. You know, there's not too many games, but there's definitely enough that can fill your needs. So yeah, hopefully we can do good on this slate. I can give you some good picks today. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so looking at pitcher today, up top you got Carlos Martinez. I don't think I'm going to be on Carmart today. I think he's way too expensive. I hate the ballpark too. He's going to be pitching in Great American, which is one of the best hitters parks. So I'm going to be off of Carmart today at $12,500. I think he's too expensive, and I'm not really a big fan of the matchup either. So I'm going to be looking for 2 mid-range pitchers today. First off, I love Jeff Samardzija, 8,900 pitching against the Brewers. Also, don't like the ballpark for Samardzija. Miller Park, also a very good hitter park. But if you look at Samardzija this year, he has been absolutely dominant when it comes to strikeouts. He has really upped his strikeout totals. If you look at last year, 2016, he had a 7.39 K per 9, so that means about every 9 innings pitched, he was averaging about 7 strikeouts. This year, he's upped his K per 9 to a 10.5 K per 9, upped it to 3 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is insane. And if you look at his K rate this year as well, he's upped it almost 8%. Last year he had a 20.1% K rate, and this year he's posted a 28.3. So Samardzija has really been getting the strikeouts this year. And if you look at the splits versus right-handed pitchers, we all know Milwaukee definitely strikes out a lot. They rank 4th in the league when it comes to K rate versus righties. They're striking out 24.8% of the time this year versus right-handed pitchers. And then if you look at their average and their WOBA, they're about league average. They rank towards the middle of the pack when it comes to average, hitting a 253 average against righties, which ranks 16th. And then WOBA is about middle of the pack as well. They rank 10th in WOBA versus righties with a 329 WOBA. So this is a pretty good matchup for Samardzija. The Brewers have definitely gotten cold as of late. You know, they got off to a really hot start this year, but as of late, they've really started to cool down. And I love Samardzija today, just 8,900. I think he is too cheap. I think he has great upside here. Like I said, his strikeouts have really been up this year. He's been really consistent. If this game was pitching in San Fran, I think Samardzija would be the top option on the slate. But since it's in Milwaukee, that does give him a little bit of a downgrade. But I still love him today at just 8,900. I think he's the top option in my opinion, or the top point per dollar option, I should say. So I'm going to be rostering Jeff Samardzija as my SP1 at 8,900. Then for SP2, I'm going to be looking at that same price range. And I'm going to be looking at Gio Gonzalez, 8K, getting a matchup against the Dodgers. If the Dodgers team, they're definitely a team that you can attack when it comes to lefties. They don't hit lefties nearly as good as they do righties. If you look at their split so far this year versus lefties, they strike out about middle of the pack versus lefties, striking out 21.2% of the time. And then if you look at their average, they're about middle of the pack in average as well, with a 247 average versus lefties, which ranks 14th. And if you look at WOBA, it's towards that same range as well. They rank 12th versus lefties with a 324 WOBA. So this team's about an average team versus lefties. So they're definitely a team that you can attack. And I love Gio Gonzalez today at just 8K. Gio has been pretty consistent this year. If you look in his last 4 games, he's really been able to get the job done. He's been consistent. He only had 1 bad game versus Atlanta, but aside from that game, he's been solid. Put up 18 DraftKings points against Philly, had 19 against Seattle, 17 against San Francisco. So like I said, Gio's been really consistent this year. I think the matchup is pretty solid. The Dodgers, they're about an average team versus lefties. Their ballpark is very pitcher-friendly as well. So I like this spot for Gio Gonzalez. At just 8K, I think he's going to be my SP2 on this slate. Since I'm going towards the mid-range at cheaper, I'm definitely going to have some salary to pay up for some bats today. When you put Samardzija and Gonzalez in as your 2 pitchers, that leaves you an average of 4,100 remaining per player. So you're definitely going to be able to pay up for some good bats today if you go with these 2 options. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking to pay up for some of my hitters. So starting off at first base, there's a value play that I actually like here. I think it's probably one of the best value plays on this slate. And that's Matt Carpenter, just 3,700, getting a matchup against this Wojciechowski guy. This guy is not good. He has been an absolute trash this year. I love this spot for Matt Carpenter. He's going to be getting the platoon advantage against Wojciechowski. Matt Carpenter does hit righties very well. I know Carp's been in a really bad slump lately. He has really been cold, but I think he's going to bounce back today in a big way. He's going to be playing in Great American, which is one of the best hitters park, and Carpenter's also just 3,700, which is way too cheap given the matchup. I think the Cardinals are probably one of the top stacks today. This Wojciechowski guy, he's just absolute trash. So you can go ahead and load up on these Cardinals bats. A lot of them are very cheap, so you're going to want to get some exposure to him. So I like Matt Carpenter. I think he's one of the best value plays on the slate. Just 3,700, getting the platoon advantage against a pretty bad righty. I expect him to do very well today. So I like Matt Carpenter at first base for value, just 3,700. Third base, I'm going to be looking to pay up for a guy here. That's Chris Bryant at 4,500, getting a matchup against Dan Straley. I love this spot for Bryant, and I love his price tag as well. I think he is too cheap. Anytime you get Chris Bryant for under 5K, he's definitely a time you want to attack. I know Bryant has been kind of average lately. He hasn't really been showing out that much. In his last 4 games, he's only put up 7, 5, 14, and 2 DraftKings points. So maybe that's one of the reasons that Bryant is so cheap. But if you look at his BVP versus Dan Straley, I absolutely love this spot just looking at the BVP. It is a very small sample size. Bryant has only seen Straley 7 times, but in those 7 times, he's had 4 hits versus Straley. 3 of those hits have been extra base hits, and 2 of them have been home runs. He's batting a .571 average versus Straley in 7 at-bats. So Chris Bryant has done absolutely amazing versus him. I expect the same to continue. I think Chris Bryant's probably the top third base option on the slate. And at just 4,500, I think that is way too cheap. So I really like Chris Bryant today. Top third base option in my opinion. At just 4,500, I think he's too cheap on this slate. And then at outfield, there's a value play that I like here. That's Matt Adams. Just 3,700, getting a matchup against Nick Pivetta. I also really like Matt Adams on this slate as value. I think he's one of the best value plays on this slate at just 3,700. Adams has been swinging a very hot bat as of late. He has homered in his last 2 games. He did hit a grand slam on Saturday versus the Reds, and today, Sunday, he hit another home run. So he's starting to swing the bat really well. I love this spot for Adams. He's going to be playing at home in Atlanta. Their new ballpark is said to have been one of the best ballpark for lefties. So this is a great hitter's park. I love Matt Adams today at just 3,700. The Braves have one of the highest implied run totals on this slate. So they're expected to get to Pivetta. This Nick Pivetta guy, he is not a good pitcher. So I like a lot of these Braves. A lot of them are very cheap. You definitely want to get some exposure to them. And I like doing that with Matt Adams today. Just 3,700. I think he has a great chance to hit a home run today. He's just been crushing the ball as of late. So he has a value play that I really like on this slate. Just 3,700. Alright, so these are my top 5 plays for tonight, guys. I went with Jeff Samardzija, Gio Gonzalez, Matt Carpenter, Chris Bryant, and Matt Adams. Now I'm going to give you guys some other players that you can roster at each position. So write these names down or try and remember them. So other pitchers that I like on this slate, besides the 2 that I gave. Like I said, I think I'm going to be fading Carmart on this slate, at least on DraftKings. I don't think he's worth that $12,500 price tag. I haven't looked at Carmart's price tag on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, I'm not going to be playing him there. The only pitcher that I really feel good about, besides the 2 guys that I gave, maybe you can roster J.A. Happ today against Oakland. We know Oakland does strike out a lot, so I think Happ is in play, but I'm looking at Samardzija and Gonzalez as my 2 pitchers. Some catchers that I like today, up top, I definitely think Buster Posey is in play. At the mid-range, I really like JT Realmuto today. He has great BVP against Eddie Butler. He's went 5 for 5 against Eddie Butler with 1 home run, so JT Realmuto has seen Butler very well. Then if you need a value play at catcher, I like Salvador Perez. First base, if you want to pay up, I definitely think Ryan Zimmerman is one of the top options on the slate if you can fit him in. He is very expensive, but he's been swinging a very hot bat as of late, so I do like Ryan Zimmerman. At the mid-range at first base, I like Anthony Rizzo. Then, like I said, I like Matt Carpenter for value at first base. Matt Adams, you can also play at first base as well, so those are some 2 value plays I like at first. Second base, I don't really like this position. I think I'm going to be punting this position or going for value. But towards the top, I do like D. Gordon at just 4,100 against Eddie Butler. I definitely think Gordon is in play. At the mid-range at second base, I like Joe Panic. And then for value, I like Cesar Hernandez. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to pay up for second base. I think Jose Altuve is just way too expensive today at 5,800. I don't really want to pay that price tag. So I'm going to be probably going for value or looking at the mid-range at second base. Third base, like I said, I think Chris Bryant's one of the top options here, but other guys that I do like, I like Anthony Rendon, I like Josh Donaldson. There aren't any value plays I'm really feeling good about at third base, so I definitely think third base is going to be a position where you're paying up. I love Chris Bryant. Like I said, I think he's a top option. And then Anthony Rendon, Josh Donaldson, other guys you consider. But like I said, don't think you're going to go for value here. I think you want to pay up at third base. Shortstop, towards the top, I like Trey Turner. At the mid-range, I like Zach Cozart. Zach Cozart has been really hot as of late, and he does have pretty good BVP against Carlos Martinez. So I definitely think Zach Cozart is in play. Then if you need value play at third or value play at shortstop, like Brandon Crawford. Outfield, some guys that I like at different price ranges. In the 4K price range, I like Jose Bautista and I like Ender Inciarte. And if you need some value plays at outfield, I like Lorenzo Cain and I like Abdul Herrera. And then, like I said, I also like Matt Adams for value at outfield. But yeah, there's some other picks that I like at each position. You guys can use my top 5 plays, use some of the picks that I gave. You guys can build a lineup out of that. I left you an average of 4,200 remaining per player once you plug in my 5 plays. So you can definitely work around that. You can find a couple value plays that you like, maybe get in some more expensive bats. And you guys can build a lineup out of my 5 plays. Or if you want to get my lineups, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups for $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So be sure to message me on Twitter if you are interested in that. Also do post all my results on Twitter. So if you want to see my lineup results, then follow me on Twitter as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I do upload these videos pretty much every day, so I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And if you never want to miss out on any videos, you can click the bell icon next to my YouTube name. If you scroll down where my YouTube name is, where the subscribe button is, there is a little bell icon. You can click that, and that'll actually turn on notifications. So that'll notify you every time I upload. So if you never want to miss out on any videos, you can do that. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Bars on heat, just tonight. Girls on me, niggas fall, they call on me. We got supplies, I brought some weed. Just grab some girls and let them know. And if they iffy, let them go. Got some things I need to do. I got some moves I need to make. I want the frosted